You know, I've got a lot on my heart this morning that I want to talk to you about. And I honestly believe if we can get 12 people saved on the front row on Saturday, we can beat that on Sunday. All right, so buckle down. We're going to preach a little bit to you this morning. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, folks, we've actually come out and the weekend has been awesome, has it not? Okay. And to understand that the way I look at it, what's happened is we've gotten the first step behind us, mindset. Everybody that's talked on mindset has done an unbelievable job from Isaac all the way down. Would we agree on that? Okay. So mindset to me is the 6 inches between your ears. We all understand that. So we should have our mind getting right now. Okay? But the second step for me that I really hadn't heard talked about, but it's been in their message, everybody from Tim Sparkman all the way down that has spoke this weekend, it's been from the heart. Would we agree on that? Yeah. So I think personally the second step is to take what we've got, Maurice, from the 6 inches between our ears to the 18 inches to our heart. That's what I'm going to attempt to do with you this morning. Because I promise you, there's never been a device or a gadget or anything out there that will measure the inside or the heart of a man or a woman. And what I mean by that is you can get excited about money, you can get excited about projects, you can get excited about a company, you can get excited about concepts, but let me tell you something. Crusaders die hard. The crusade I want to talk to you about this morning is the crusade against your financial poverty. I want to get you dreaming again because so many people will take that dream away from you. And if you can leave here today, in my opinion, dreaming as big as you want to dream, we're going to make something happen together. Now, let me go on record by saying I've been doing this for over 35 years, this kind of business. And I've never, ever, I'll just get this out of the way so there's no doubt. There's nothing that I've ever touched or came close to that's anywhere in the realm of momentous. Okay? And if I didn't mean that, I wouldn't be up here saying it. I'd be somewhere else. This is the most unbelievable opportunity I've ever seen. Thanks to Just Energy, thanks to Andy, thanks to Mike, thanks to Ken Hardwick, thanks to Clifton and Grace for hanging in there. God bless you. Okay? Maurice, Tim, all of them. We wouldn't be here without that. And this opportunity is, again, unbelievable. But folks, what about you? Let's talk about you. Let's give you something to go home with that's going to change your life. And if it's going to change, it's going to be you making a change. See, Andy will stand up and admit, I've heard him over and over and over. He has friends in all kind of multi-level and network and relationship businesses. And there's people in those businesses, I won't name any of them just to give them any credit. But there's people there making millions, is it not? Okay, have you ever tried any of them? Did it work for you? I differ with that opinion. You didn't work for it. Hello? Gets quiet now when the rubber meets the road, doesn't it? If there's somebody there making $1 million, guess what? You can too. All right? But you got to do what others don't to have what others don't have. All right? You got to pay the price up front. Now, folks, you've seen the story up here of where I came from, but there's a lot of missing information in that story. It looks great to see zero to hero, but let me give you a 10-year window that nobody wants to pay the price. See, this is what I want you to take out of here today. All right? When I made the commitment to take on my first relationship marketing company, it was a commitment. I started with the end in mind. I was dreaming so big, folks, you couldn't convince me, you couldn't beat me down, you couldn't hold me down and convince me that it wasn't going to happen. I knew in my heart of hearts it was going to happen. Why? Because it was in my heart. Okay? I'd already claimed it. I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to take me 10 years to get there. I didn't realize that, Maurice. But you know what? When I set out on that mission, you couldn't have stopped me. There was no giving up in that fight. Okay? There was no giving up. Folks, when I started, I want you to understand something. After 10 years, now did I just say 10 years? Okay, if it don't work in a week, most of us say this ain't going to work. See ya. I'm out of here, and you're looking for the next best thing. Okay? 10 years of my life, folks, 10 years of my family's life, we paid a price that very few people in this room will pay. But look at the results. Would you want to be where I'm at now? Would you want to be where Greg Kite is, champion, best team, all this stuff? Would you want to be where Lamons is? Would you want to be where Clifton and Grace are? See, all of those stories, folks, they could get up and tell the same story. But I'm going to talk about mine just a little bit this morning because I've never done that before, Tim. And it's Sunday morning, and I think it's story time. All right? And Mr. Andy said I could talk about anything I wanted to. So thank you, sir. Bottom line, when I left Goodyear, I want you to know I sat down with my wife and my 2 children. And they were little children. And we sat in the living room. And I looked them in the eye and I said, look, guys, I love you. I'm going to do everything in the world I can to protect you and take care of you. I always have. I always will. But let me let you in on a little secret. I despise building tires. That's a physical work that I do not like. And I do not like working 3rd shift when everybody else is home. Anybody ever had to do that? What price would you pay never to have to do that again? See, folks, you got to remind yourself of the things that you don't ever want to do again in order not to go back there. That's your why. That's where we're going to get deep. So when I sat down and talked to him, I said, it's going to be a price on everybody's part. We're all going to pay a price. Okay? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be gone. You're not going to see me. It's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care about you. It's just the opposite. See, I think, folks, you got to take all your excuses and put them in a bag and turn them into reasons as to why to do something. Throw those excuses away. They've become reasons to do it. So we wiped out our excuses. So I looked at my girls. I said, look, you're going to have to clean your own room up. That's Mama's job. No, it's not. As of today, it's your job. You're going to have to wash dishes. Mama does that. Not today, she don't. What's Mama going to be doing? She's going to be mowing the yard. That's your job. After today, it's not. I don't have time. See, we sat down and we wrote it all out. But let me tell you what else I wrote out. I started drawing the pictures of that dream home you've seen on that video. Right then, I started drawing them. I knew where the living room was going to be. I knew where the basketball court was going to be. I knew where the pool was going to be. It was all a vision, folks, and I started working on it that day. Started with the end in mind. Now, did it work overnight? No. The house we lived in, we paid $42,000 for it back in '83. In '95, when I left the company that I refused to give up on, I owed $95,000 on it, 3 mortgages. I had $60,000 in credit card debt, and I'd just gotten out of the hospital. I'd pull it off and show you, but it's kind of bad. It don't look good, does it, Tim? He's seen me going swimming. 6, 7, 8 scars here, 5 major operations in 58 days. I laid in the hospital and looked straight up, flat on my back, couldn't go anywhere. 58 days. Folks, the reason I laid there for 58 days is because I had gotten down so far in this business that I didn't have health insurance. I could not go to the hospital. I would get up on stage and speak immediately after going to the restroom before I spoke and doing my thing because my stomach was tore up. I had gallbladder, my liver, all of that was just inflamed with gallbladder problems, and I was about to die. I was a walking explosion. But I couldn't stop. I had no option. I couldn't turn around. Now, could I have went back and tried to get a job and get health insurance? Yes. But just shoot me. I didn't want to do that. That was not inside of me. When I made up my mind to leave that, I made up my mind not to come back to that. You understand? So if you're going to shoot me, shoot me. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I know that sounds crazy, but folks, you got to be a little crazy. I think every one of them got up here is a little crazy. Don't y'all? Okay, but look at them. I want to be a little crazy like they are. Look at Mike back there, man. I was worried that dude was going to come off the stage. He just got so close, and I'm like, come on, Mike, back up a little bit. You're going to fall off, man. You're going to get excited and jump off. But he's trying to get his point across. So, folks, I'm saying I went through that, and in building that business, I learned so much. And sitting where you're sitting at, you don't even know what you've learned this weekend. It's not going to hit you until you really sit down by yourself and go through those notes. And I'm going to give you some great advice right now. Try to pick out no more than 3 things that you learned this weekend and implement those into your system. Implement those into your business. If you go back home and quit everything you're doing and start over every time we have a convention, you're making a huge mistake, in my opinion. Add to what you're doing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it is broke, don't keep doing it. Okay? They've given you some great advice on what to do. So let's finish up on the story and keep giving examples. So after coming back from that hospital stay of 58 days, here's what I found. I was in a company that I had 21 regional vice presidents direct to me, which would be like our front row here, okay? Then I had like 4 or 5 what we would call national directors direct to me. We called them senior vice presidents, all right? And when I came back, they were all full-time. They all had a position. They were all making. When I came back out of that hospital and went back to my office that day before I came home with staples and stitches and everything in me, the whole office was empty. You hear me? Every single person I had quit. I had built a dependent organization on me, Tim, and didn't even realize it. And I hit my knees right there and I said, Lord, if you'll just help me, I'll never do it again. I'll be independent. I learned my lesson. And I started over that day after 10 years. I could have went back like they did and got a job, but I didn't. Now, every single one of those people, okay, we had our first meeting. I'll never forget it. Tim came to Danville, all right? And we had our first meeting. It was over 200 people in my gym. Am I right? 200 people. I just called my best friend. I said, look, y'all didn't make it with me the first time. You said if I ever found another one, call you. Be here such and such a night. Thank you. Call up the next one. Call up the next one. Call up. They all showed up. Bobby, every one of them showed up. They'd seen the results. They knew what I'd done. And every time I'd see them out, they say, I wish I'd have stuck with you. I wish I'd have hung in there. I just wish I'd have listened to you. But they didn't. They quit along the way. So every one of them came back, lined up, smiling just like this. Sat in the row, listened to the opportunity by one of the best in the company. And all of them walked out one at a time. This ain't for me. This ain't for me. If you get another one, call me. I'm like, have you lost your mind? It's here again, in front of you. Think about it. Deregulation of energy, all the things that we talked about. Okay? It's unbelievable. And they walked out one at a time. And every time I see them, how's that little energy thing going? I said, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. It's no need to tell them how good it's going. It's no need to try to convince. They're not going to do it. Okay? But so many of you will get discouraged along the way when something like that happens to you that you'll end up following the crowd. Well, thank God I didn't. Not just because of my lifestyle, folks. It's not about money. If you hear from money, you know what? Even if you're in my group, just get a cup of coffee and go home. Am I mad at you? No, I love you. Every single one of you. And I'm pouring my heart out to you right now. But the reason I say that is, if you're here for money, the first hiccup, you're gone. The first curve in the road, you keep straight. The first hump, you just don't make it over it, do they, Clifton? What about Clifton's guy? Man, that was so amazing to me. I thought about that all night last night. Man, if I was that guy, they taping, but I'd feel so stupid right now that I walked away from that. You know, it don't make sense. Don't make any sense. There's a guy that brought me in. He walked away. Bless his heart. Right, Tim? Tim counts it all the way to the bank, bless his heart. Okay. There you go. It is what it is. Okay. But seriously, folks, I want you to stick it out, but I want you to make the decisions to do the things that people are talking about here on stage so that it doesn't take so long. I know without a doubt the road to success goes through the dump. Am I right, Mark? I know it. But the key is not to camp out. Let's get through it and go. And that's why we give you these tidbits to help you along the way. All right? And when I say let's get to the 16 inches between here and here to your heart, see, the book I read says where your treasures lie, the desires of your heart will be there also. Think about that. Think about that. See, if your heart's not in it, you'll quit. If your heart's not in it, it won't stick. Now, the heart has got to be there, again, fighting against your financial poverty. Think about that. There's so many people coming up asking me questions this weekend, and it's amazing the questions they're asking me, and they answer their own questions and don't even realize they're answering their own questions. And all you got to do is point it out to them. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about, seriously, how we get it to your heart. See, that's not an easy task. It's easy to get up here and say heart. It's easy to get up here and talk about putting it in your heart. But we got to do what Freddie and I did to get it to your heart. Man, I ain't smart enough to even open these markers. All right, then. But I'm bad enough to rip them open. We got it. Okay. But here's the thing, folks. It's easy to say it, but it's tough to get down to it. You know, where's Elena? Sitting on the front row again? Where's she at? She's sitting there. Oh, there she is with her hand up over there. Okay, until I got that young lady crying, there was no commitment. There was no commitment. Tony, until I... Stand up a minute, Tony. Brand new RD. Give her a hand. Okay? Brand new. But let me tell you something. She's been working with another guy. I'm not going to call his name. It's not important. She's been working with another guy for 8 months, 9 months, whatever the deal is. But he missed the mark. He didn't get to her heart. When I got to her heart the other night and I broke her down, as she says, and she started crying, she cried for 3 days. She's crying now. And 3 days that she cried, she became an RD because it meant something to her. She took it serious for once in her life. Okay? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. That's where I want to get with you and get you to understand. So I've learned from the best. This is Mr. Andy McWilliams right here. Number one. Y'all ever heard that? Why? Freddie's got 4 of them. Whys or wives or something. We ain't figured it out yet, but he's got 4 or something. Okay? But folks, your why is where it all starts at. See, when you see that video up there, it's a nice video for you, but it reminds me of where I came from. And let me tell you something. Every single solitary day, Bobby, when I get up, I don't want to go back there. I'll find myself going over there once a month, pulling up in front of it and just looking at it. Just to remind me that I don't want to be back there. Just to remind me, Jackie, that I just met you, honey, and I don't ever want to see you and that beautiful little girl of yours have to live like that. See, that's where my heart is. That's where I'm trying to get you people to understand. It's got to be deep. You got to go back to find something in your... You don't got to, okay? But we all know the definition of insanity. Can you do what you always done and expect different results? It ain't going to happen. Nothing changes till something changes. We change here, we get it to here, then get out of my way. See, if I can get it to your heart, I don't care how big you are, I don't care how small you are, I don't care how timid you are. If it's in your heart, I'm out of your way. Because you'll go through that door right there. You'll go through that wall right there. You'll knock it down if it's in your heart. Am I right or am I right? You know what you'll fight for. You're the only person that knows what you'll fight for. And if you can't reach in there and find that, folks, we will help you. We will help you find your heart and your desires and what's there. But if it's about money, if it's about anything other than something that gets you up early and keeps you up late, first hiccup, you're out of here. First hiccup, you're out of here. You got to go deep and make sure it's in there. Okay? So I can't give everybody's example, and I can't stand up here, and I don't have time to go through everybody's example. But get with your upline, get with your sideline, get with your accountability partner, and you guys or gals or whatever it is, figure out what it is you'll fight for. Okay? Sean, I know what you'll fight for. Amberly, I've heard you say what you'll fight for. See, here's a couple back. I mean, I just keep seeing examples out here, and I know they're wise. And I see a couple that had everything going. Doctor, working for an organization, pharmaceutical, his wife making all kinds of money. And on December the 20th, their life's perfect. December the 21st, they think their life's over. She gets a pink slip. They just cut back. She's done. $150,000 a year out of your income. How you like me now? It's not a question of if life is going to happen to you. The question is when it's going to happen. See? And the people that are asking me the questions are giving me the answers. They're like, you wouldn't believe it. I've lost this. I've lost this. I'm out of business. I've lost my life savings. How do I recruit people? Well, you just said how you recruit people. Tell them what happened to you. Tell them a story. You were on top of the world. You had your practice. You had this. You had all of this stuff going for you. And one day you woke up and it was gone. So here's a question for the person you're talking to. Do you have a plan B? Do you think you ought to? See, folks, people say, well, why do you do it? You got so much money. I know this. I know when 911 hit, 401ks became 201ks. Am I right or am I right? Go to sleep and let it hit one more time. 105 and a half. I mean, it ain't going to work. Okay, what you think you got, you don't got. So how much is enough? I don't know. But I don't want to quit now because I don't want to go back. So find your why, folks. Understand that. Second step, we've already talked about this, but I'm going to elaborate on it a little bit. Put a list together. Why is the list so important? It's so important because so many people make the biggest rookie mistake they've ever made in their life. They qualify their list. Don't do that. Just take a gun out and shoot your foot off. It's over. Okay? Don't do that, folks. It's that important. Who are you? Let me ask you this way. Who are you, or who am I, or who is Andy, or anybody else in this room to think that we have the right to determine that Michael wouldn't make it? We don't have that right, do we? That's exactly what you're doing when you're qualifying your list. You're saying, he wouldn't do it, so I'm going to skip to him, and I'm going to Great. No, I don't think she'll do it. She's too pretty. Let me go over here. No, Clifton, bless his heart, he's too ugly. No, we go over here. And he's not, okay? He's not. All right, if he did, he wouldn't have her, okay? But bottom line, you know what I'm saying? You put your opinion in it, and your opinion, and $4 today will get you a cup of coffee in Starbucks, maybe $5, I don't know, whatever it is. So your opinion doesn't count. All you do is put the list down, folks, and go through them and give them the opportunity. Some will, some won't. So what? SOB, slide over, baby. Give me another one. I'm just sorting. I'm not choosing. Okay? Put your list together and do not qualify the list. Now, discovery. Let's talk about discovery a minute. Folks, as good as this opportunity is, and I've already shared with you my opinion for what it's worth, it's the best. But you cannot recruit people throwing up all over them. You cannot. People have heard every opportunity from coffee to famous pills that make you walk on water, okay? They got everything out there, okay? And all of it works, okay? I understand. People that believe in the vitamins, believe in their heart of hearts, they're the best in the world. I got it, okay? I got it. But let me tell you something. Your discovery is about them, not about you, not about your opportunity, not about your opinion. It's about the person you're talking to. Your role, your job, your responsibility is to remove the objections they have and get closer to them. Not remove the objections and tick them off. That's the wrong way to look at it. You don't sort like that. Well, the heck with you, I'll find another one look just like you. No, it's not that. It's you remove the objections, get closer, and then if it don't work, it's next. All right? But the discovery is things like, how's your job working out for you? You happy with it? Give me 3 things you like about it, 3 things you don't like about it. Okay? And I say it all the time to people. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, folks. Don't just ask a question and be looking around waiting for the answer so you can jump on them. I'm sincere. If I ask Tim Sparkman what's going on in his life, I'm concerned about that, even though I don't know him. Believe it or not, I am. Maybe that's weird. We've already established that. I'm weird, okay? Get over it. You got to be weird. When I talk to him, I care. And if he tells me 3 things he don't like, it's very simple for me. If I could show you how to replace the 3 things you don't like and make the 3 things you do like better and put you in business for yourself, would you give me 10 minutes of your time? Yes or no? Now, SOB. Slide over, baby. I got to move because there's another one sitting right beside him named Scott. I got to find out if he'll do it, if she'll do it, if she'll do it. And I'm not worried about the ones that don't do it. I'm concerned with the ones that do. And I want to talk to those people. But you got to do your discovery. People will tell you what you need to know. The good Lord invented us this way. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Why? We're supposed to hear twice as much as we say. So many of us get so excited, we're like a kid at Christmas with a new toy. We just got to play with it. You know what I'm saying? We can't put it down. And we just want to throw up all over people with this toy and tell them how good it is. And it is. But that's not the responsibility in the discovery stage. You got to find out what's going on in their life. And if I can find a problem in your life and give you a solution to solve that, are you interested or not? Yes, you're interested. That's all we do, is solve problems for people. But that's the discovery, folks. You got to get not good at that. You got to get great at that. Then the invitation. Folks, this one right here, I could talk all day, and I know they won't let me. But there's a major difference in the invitation and the presentation. I know you've heard this weekend. Okay? And I'm going to tie all of this up with heart. Just hang on a minute, and I'm going to put it right back on you. Okay? I'm not leaving that subject. That's my subject for today. The invitation is over here. The presentation is over here. And bottom line, anything in the middle is Death Valley. Stay out of there. It'll kill you. Here's the problem. It doesn't matter, and I respect the doctors in the house. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't matter that they're a doctor. If I'm sick, it matters. Okay? But when it comes to energy, it doesn't matter. Am I right or am I right? Okay, so your credibility is your credibility. Doesn't matter if you're the mailman. Doesn't matter if you build it. Doesn't matter if you're a pastor. I respect that, but you're a pastor. If I got a problem, I'll come to you for that kind of problem. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you and I respect you for that. But if all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're going to be an expert in energy and try to tell me all about it, hello, did a rock hit you on the head last night or something? That's not your field. So why do you want to get into all of that? You want to get into the invitation. You want to invite them to where the information is. The information is in your upline. Okay? Your upline is the expert. I don't care who your upline is. Your upline is the expert. You edify that person to the people you're talking to, and whether he or she is the expert or not, they become the expert. And why is that so important? Because you're going to have them edify you for you to become the expert. So you can't say, well, you know what? I have a bad upline, and I'm going to put you in front of them, but they no good. And well, then all of a sudden, what did you just teach them to do? Well, you know, my upline, he or she stinks, but I'm going to put you in front of them because that's all I got. It's going to funnel down to nothing. Okay? So your upline is your lifeline, folks. You get the people in front of your upline, whether it's a meeting, whether it's an in-home presentation, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's a conference call, three-way call. The other day I left Greensboro, North Carolina. It's a 45-minute drive from Greensboro to Danville. I did 10 one-on-one calls, three-way calls in 45 minutes. 10, one right behind the other. Quick. Different people. Okay, you say, I don't have time. I had to ride 45 minutes anyway. What am I going to do? Look at the highway? I need to be putting people in the business. I need to be talking to people. So my people understand. When you call me, Kenny, I answer the phone. We do a two-way, three-way, whatever it is. Right or right? Okay, that's what we do, folks. So they're inviting people, but they're inviting people to meet me. They're inviting people to meet Tim. They're inviting people to meet Scott. And we give out the information. That leads us to the presentation. Okay? That's the part we do. Now, don't get excited. We're going to let you do the presentation too. But you got to get a couple layers deep to have the credibility to deliver the presentation. You got to get out of your warm market because they know you. Right, Philadelphia? They know you. You got it? Okay? So you got to get below that to where they don't know you, then you become the expert. Very simple. Anybody with a briefcase 3 miles from home is labeled an expert. You can't be a prophet in your own land. It don't work. All right? It ain't going to happen. So the presentation then gets put out by the person that you say is the expert. All right? All of this works for you, folks. Then a simple step is called follow-up. All right? That's your responsibility. Follow up and follow through. You know, people come to me all the time. Man, I've talked to 10 people, 12 people, 15 people, and I'm just waiting for them to call me back. Okay, keep waiting. That ain't going to happen. It's your business. You take charge. Why would you put your business in somebody else's hands? You follow up. You follow through. You contact them back. You know why you're scared to contact them back? Because when they say no, you're done. That's why you're scared to call them back. As long as you got hope, you can hang on to it. Well, folks, get it over with. Call them back. They're in or they're out. Next, move on. That's the way you build it. You got to be quick. You got to be moving. You got to be shaking. You got to be in front of people. Can't just sit around and wait on two. Well, if they would join, I'd be successful. No, ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. If ifs and buts was candy and nuts, we'd all have a good Christmas, right? It ain't going to happen. You can wait on it, but it ain't going to happen, okay? It's up to you to make it happen. So bottom line, folks, you take these steps, but it all comes back full circle here. There's the heart. Now let me draw you out something. Here's the good news in this business, okay? Good news in this business. There's a 30% rule. Now, the good news is that's the numbers. You can't beat them, and they can't beat you. See, that's great for me. As much as we motivate and excite and train people, when I make business decisions, folks, I own 9 different companies outside of here. When I make those kind of decisions, you know, Mike, bless his heart, love him to death. He said, how did Dickie's restaurant get in there? I said, well, I own 3 of them. He said, oh, okay, that's how it got in there. All right? So when I make a decision, folks, it's based on facts. It's based on numbers. It's based on whether or not it'll work. Well, when I hear that the numbers are the numbers, that excites me. Does that excite you? The numbers are there, okay? So here's the numbers. If it's a 30% rule, that means 30% of the people that you deal with are going to do business. Now watch. If you go out and talk to 30 people, that can be in a day, that can be in a week, that can be in a month. This is your goals, your dreams, you're putting it together. But if you go out and talk to 30 people, what's 30% of that? We're going to round it up to 10. 10 people will give you what we call a qualified meeting. One-on-one, come to a meeting, sit down to a presentation, have a cup of coffee at Starbucks, something, and let you give them the information. That's 30%. Now, if you take 30% of the 10, 3 people will become a rep. Okay, you want to hire 3 a week? Talk to 30. Simple. Numbers can't beat you. You can't beat the numbers. You say, well, I'm not recruiting 3 people a week. Guess what? That lets me know a little clue. You're not talking to 30 people. Simple. I can fix your problem. Okay? You're not busy. You're not doing what it counts. You're moving papers around. You're shuffling stuff on your desk. You go to work every morning, sit there and do this, do this, do this. Am I right, Mike? We went through this, didn't we, brother? And do this and do that, and come home at night and tell you, oh, I'm so tired, I worked all day. Man, I'm just wore out. You ain't done nothing unless you talk to people that's going to make you money. You can't keep doing that. And then so many people say, well, my spouse won't support me. I wouldn't support your lazy butt either. You got to do, you think this young lady will keep sacrificing for the man of her dreams that she loves with all of her heart to be away from her and those children if he don't bring home the bacon? Heck no, she won't. And you won't either. And you wonder why your wife don't support you. Well, there's a clue. Okay? So 3 reps, folks. And if you do it the right way, 7 people say no. That's not the ones you're worried about. You're worried about the 3 you got. But out of that, 4 of those will become your customers. And from that leaves 3, and they will give you referrals. And you do that in a way, when you talk to people, it's very simple. I need to come over, Tim, and talk to you about something, and I want you to look at it from 3 different standpoints. Number 1, you may want to help me do this. If that's the case, great. Probably not for you, because I know you're busy with your pawn shops and you're doing your demolition and all this stuff and putting all that. So I got it. I know you're busy, but I want to at least show it to you. That way you can't blame me if you didn't get in. You know what I'm saying? Now, if that's okay, I still love you, brother. But number 2, if none of that fits, I want you to become a customer. And if I show you some things that'll save you money, make sense in your life, just become my customer. That's it. And we still win, still love you. But if you're not interested in any of that, you're not spending any money on what I'm talking about, that's great. Just refer me to some people like Chad, who you know is young, trying to get ahead, and I can't get to him without you, brother. So will you do one of those 3 things for me? Absolutely. So when I sit down, they're going to become a rep, a customer, or refer me to somebody. It's a yes, yes, yes situation in there. Everybody wins. Why do people not let you come over? Because they don't want to look you in the eye and say no. They'd rather do it on the phone. So I'm giving them 3 outs. They can say yes to something, and everybody wins. Because if not him, I want to get to Chad. If not Chad, I want to get to Bobby. If not Bobby, I want to get to Dr. Seuss. You understand what I'm saying? I can't get to him because I don't know him. But I got to work my way through. If I told you the Lineage that built my last company, years ago, folks, years ago, I flew to Houston, Texas, did a meeting, and in that meeting it's probably about half the size of this room. And I mean, this is years ago, back in the 80s. And I got a guy in my business, I'll just give his first name. His first name was Keith. Got another one by the name of Tom and another one by the name of Mike in that room. It's probably 75 to 100 people in that room. 3 people signed up. I was excited. You know what I'm saying? I got 3. That's 3 I didn't have when I got there. Now, Keith went on to be a guy that made about $900,000 a year with me, worked it for years and years and years. There was a guy in the room, Tom, that said, you know what, my health is bad. I know how to do this, but I'm leaving. I got to go to Florida. I got to retire. But I want you to go talk to a friend of mine by the name of Mike who lives in Roanoke, Virginia. So I go to Roanoke, and I meet Mike, and he's got a business partner. We talked to both of them. They got into business. We got started. Keith's still rolling. Tom retired. The other Mike quit. This Mike got excited. He put me in front of a guy by the name of Charlie in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, he put me in front of more, but these are the ones I remember. Charlie in Richmond set me in front of a group of people of about another 100 people, 3-piece suits on. I'm like, I done hit the mother load again, Tim. We own. Charlie had a ton of people that got started. Started bringing people in, started making money. He was making $500,000 or $600,000 a year with me, but he introduced me to a guy, something about Mike. It was another Mike that lived in Dunn, North Carolina. He was a pastor. He got in on a part-time basis. Introduced me to his best friend by the name of Andy. Not this Andy, a different Andy. He lived in Burlington, North Carolina. Andy commenced to building a business with me, working, and became 50% of my business. We became partners, formed NAA, National Agents Alliance. At our peak, we were making $650,000 a month each, times 3. It was 3 partners. When he bought me out, after 9 years of doing that, $33 million in my pocket. Okay, thank God for Tom, who quit and retired and went to Florida. Hello? Okay? So don't tell me that one ain't important. It is important. If you're not asking for that, shoot yourself. Get it over with. Walk off the stage when you're done. Okay? I ain't done yet. I got this. Hallelujah. I might have to walk that way now. Just come on out there with y'all. Okay. I ain't seen no time, so I don't know. All right. Sorry. Okay. So we got 30% rule. 10, 3, 7, 4, and 3. Now, what causes this not to happen? If you're not getting 3 out of 10, you need a checkup from your neck up, folks. Your heart ain't in it. Your mind ain't right. Nothing's going on. You should get 3 out of 10. But let me tell you why you're not. Because people look in your eyes and smell a phony a mile away. Difference in winning and losing is right there. You can't see it, taste it, feel it, or smell it. It's that small. But they can taste it. They can feel it. See, don't drive up in my driveway in a Volkswagen telling me you're selling Mercedes. I ain't buying. It ain't working. If it ain't in your eyes, it means it ain't in your heart. And I can feel it, taste it, and smell it, and you're done. Stick a fork in you. You're done. Okay? So get it in your heart. If it's not working, go all the way back to your why. Go all the way back to that step. There's the problem, the one that's circled. Get that one right, the rest of it falls in place. If that one ain't right, it's like that example of crawling and walking and riding the bike. You're not going to start riding the bike while you're crawling. You can't. You got a couple steps in between. You got to go back and fix the problem. So there's your problem. Everybody in this room, I can guarantee you, with the exception of possibly the front row, needs to go home and work on your why. Okay? Need to figure out that your why is not deep enough. Need to figure out you don't understand what your why is. Need to figure out why you're not getting up early and staying up late. It's not important to you. You don't care enough about it. It's something there. For me, again, I don't ever want to go back. Very simple. There's other whys. Some of the people in the room know. One of them sitting right down the front row. Okay? But you got to get to that point, folks. So if the 30% rule isn't working, that's why it's not working. I'm going to leave you with this. I always like to leave something that will give you a game plan, and you can put the numbers to it. Again, the numbers be the numbers, folks. But I'm going to show you something here that I put together. SD. Everybody knows what it takes to be SD, right? You go get 3 personal reps and 6 total reps and 5 customer points. Done. Right or right? All right, I'm not going to go through all these diagrams. Everybody's explained it perfectly. But if you can do that, all right, then you can make whatever you want to make in a week. Here's how you do it. It's very simple. As an SD, if you go back now and get 3 personal reps, what do you make per rep? 3 times 150, right? There's $450 if you, as an SD, So many people mess up and say, I'm SD now, I can take a break. No, you really got to go to work now. You're a senior director. You got to build that house. My team is one house down here on the corner. You're going to make money off of that, but you got a second house that you got to build, and you're going to make money off of that one. So now, as an SD, 3 times 150 is that. 6 people under that, which would be 3 more, right? 6 total reps. What are you going to make off of each one of them? 50, 50, 50. That's 150. That's $600. Anybody in here use an extra $600 a week, a month, a quarter, whatever? It's your goal, not ours. It's your dream, not ours. Okay? There's no reason in the world other than your why and not understanding that if you can go get 3 people by talking to 30 people in a week, you're going to make $450. If you can teach 3 people to do that a third of the time, you get 1 each, there's another $150. That's $600 a week. That's $2,400 a month. Folks, you understand something? There's people that work a job that don't make $2,400 a month. You realize that? It is in Danville. I don't know about Dallas, but we got them in Danville, the other big D, all right? So, folks, that's a game plan for you to make $600. If your goal is to make $600 in a week, there it is. If it's to make it in a month, there it is. If it's to make $1,000, put the numbers to it and know how many people you can back into it. It's a mathematical equation. It's not magic. And I understand math. You understand numbers. Tim and I talk about it all the time. It's just mathematical. If mathematical, you can show me how I can make money. What I say, I'm in. And I can show other people how to do it. We're going to make a ton of money. Pretty simple. So if you don't take anything else home from me, take that home and understand that to get to SD, just requalify for that thing. Every week, every month, whenever you want to do it, and there it is. And it's not going to stay there, because what's going to happen? You're going to move up, and the income's going to move up. But that's just a simple game plan. But now, in closing, I think, in closing, I want to say this, okay? It all goes full circle back to here, to here. Get that mindset right. Get your 6 inches up here right, but then work on getting it down here and work on getting that passion of where it needs to be, to where you will not take no for an answer, you will not quit, you will not give up, you will not deviate, you will not turn left, you will not turn right. You'll just keep going to make it happen regardless of what people say. Can we do that, folks? For your benefit, not mine. Can we do that? Let's make it happen.